Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to mine Bitcoin off the energy of these two power people, experts of mining of Bitcoin and energy, the great Foss and Adamo Denver Bitcoin. Your host, Pubby and Danish. And this is the Toxic Happy Hour, where we are toxic towards scams that delay the adoption of global sound money, which is on our way, which is unstoppable, and which will help humanity like you have no idea. I just want to say welcome, guys. I'd love to hear what you guys are drinking. Let's take a round, all four of us. And looking forward to the show with you. We had a lot of fun in the green room. Let's go.
Thanks for having me. This is, I'm showing you what I'm drinking. This is California's finest. Again, the thing I was drinking the last time I was on air, I think with you guys, Pubby and Danish, Sierra Nevada, a beautiful IPA. Thank you, California, for producing a great beer here.
Well, I'm definitely the odd man out here. Not only do I not have a scarf, but I'm drinking Gatorade. So, you know, getting wrecked on Gatorade over here. Staying hydrated as Bitcoin plummets down to $46,000. I love it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Poppy, what are you having?
The scarf action. Yeah, first off, Greg is a fan of the show. First guest that ever showed up and had, I think, the scarf ready. But yes, the Sierra Nevada is my go-to as well. It's a nice IPA there. But listen, I'm in Central America, and I'm starting with a little Florida Cana, a little rum tonight with the boys, and a local beer. A local beer as a side attraction. I'm ready to roll, man.
Nice.
Let's go.
So sorry, Pubby, you're there. You're in South America. You're drinking South American.
No, I'm in
stuff.
Central.
I'm in Central America right now.
You are not. Are you, kid? That's cool.
Yeah, man. I'm overseas 4 months of the year working.
Overseas ain't South America, is it? Like, come on, help me out here. I'm from Canada. Like, when you say overseas, do you mean?
No, like I've been to over 100 countries around the world. So
now you're in South America, though. Okay, I got you.
Central.
Central.
So what? Nicaragua, Costa Rica. Where are you? You're not even going to tell us, are you?
Nicaragua.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Nice.
All right. I will introduce. So this is the beer I grew up with in Denmark. I am back in Denmark visiting friends and family for the first time in 2.5 years. And I'm super happy and glad to be here. And I am having, this is Green Tuborg, which is, we say it in Danish, Grøn Tuborg. That was the beer that we drank when we were teenagers. And so cheers, fellas. Great to have you aboard.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We always come on with pretty much close to no agenda, but so we're lucky to go live right now where Elon Musk goes out and says funny things, maybe because he doesn't really, actually, there's a subject he may not actually fully know something about. We're going to discuss that. Denver. So what do you think about this Elon Musk comment, which seems to have triggered an amazing buying opportunity?
You know, I think it's weird. I find it to be kind of, I don't know, short-sighted and strange. I thought from their, Tesla's initial allocation to Bitcoin, and then, even Musk since then he had purchased, I think he was looking at purchasing some gas wells, down in Texas, right? And, for him to come out and just talk about how mining Bitcoin is, because the majority of it is done with fossil fuels, that they no longer want to accept Bitcoin for Tesla payments, but they're still going to hold it on their balance sheet, but they're still going to hold a significant, position. Just tells me that it's pretty much just like a blatant virtue signal, right? That's pretty much nothing more than that, in my opinion. It's like maybe they had some other reason as to why they wanted to stop accepting Bitcoin. Maybe some people were trying to take advantage of Bitcoin's volatility and shoot Bitcoin to Tesla's payment system and, get a discount on their, on their Model Y or whatever. But it just seems like they had a reason to maybe stop accepting Bitcoin, and then they threw this one out there to virtue signal and kind of justify it. And it just seems hollow, right? It just, because ultimately, if you do any research, you figure out the opposite, that Bitcoin is pretty much going out there and absorbing all waste energy and stranded energy. And so, yeah, I thought Elon was smarter than this, to be honest, right? I mean, I thought he was I thought they were more in touch with how Bitcoin was implementing into the energy stack. Guess not.
Look, man,
or they're openly lying. I don't know, right? Or they're openly just playing this part.
You say you thought he was smart, but look, he's been pumping Doge for a while. You know, he started many months ago with the Bitcoin. You know, the tease of Bitcoin. How many tweets did he put out before it must have been 6 months worth of Bitcoin tweets before they finally announced they had purchased some. But yeah, then he gets into Doge, and my God, look, he pumped that from what, 4 cents? 4 cents to 71
Yeah, but
cents.
I mean the Dogecoin thing, I feel though is Elon being the troll that he kind of is, right? He's kind of, you know, he likes to be a class clown or whatever in that way, and make a lot of jokes, right? And I think his justification, I heard him on Clubhouse, was, you know, the fact that Dogecoin was made as a joke, right, to make fun of all of these other coins. He said, you know, it would be the most ironic outcome if that one ended up becoming the money that everyone used. And he's like, oftentimes the most ironic outcome is you know, the most likely outcome in this day and age, right? It's, you know, I think you might have even referenced the fact, like, you know, Donald Trump getting elected to office. You know, Simpsons were making jokes about it 10 years earlier. We're living in this world today where all these kind of ironic and almost parody-like things happen. And so I think that, like, I understand that almost a little bit more, like his joking of it. I think he took it way too far, and maybe doesn't realize how serious people might think he is, like, and put their life savings into this vaporware. But when it comes to this, right, I mean, this is just a matter of engineering. This is a matter of objective truth and objective impact on the environment. And Bitcoin, I mean, there really is no argument. Bitcoin has a positive impact on the environment, right? I mean, I'm living it every day, right? I'm talking with oil and gas producers every day that are about to leverage Bitcoin to mitigate their methane emissions, right? And so,
Denver, explain that, because a lot of people don't understand that. Wait, if we spend energy, why is it positive? Explain it to the people that haven't heard the explanation before, and afterwards, let's go to Greg Foss as well.
Yeah,
but let.
No, I think so. There's a ton of oil and gas or oil wells out there that have associated gas, right? And what that means is gas that is coming, you know, out of the reservoir with the oil that they're pumping and that they're producing, but they have no way to sell that gas. They don't have a pipeline to bring that gas to market, right? So what they end up doing is they flare that gas. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, right? It's a giant flame coming out of a metal pipe, you know, on the side of the road or something. And that's just because they have no means by which to bring it to market, and it's not economic for them to build a pipeline. But it is, you know, the world still demands the oil that they're producing. In fact, there's, you know, usually a demand that's greater than the daily supply of oil produced. So, you know, I think people don't realize kind of how oil and gas produced, but that's the fact of it, is that a lot of gas gets wasted every day. And so Bitcoin mining is a means for these producers to actually mitigate that gas that they're flaring into the environment and internally combust it to generate electricity and mine Bitcoin. And in turn, they're going to reduce their methane emissions, right, their CH4 emissions drastically, because they're now internally combusting rather than externally combusting or open air flaring those hydrocarbons, which is just a much cleaner, much more efficient way in which to you know, deal with natural gas. The emissions from it are carbon dioxide and water, right? When you burn methane, you get, you know, CO2 and H2O. And so ultimately, it's a massive net positive. And there's the emissions that go on a daily basis worldwide are so grand, right? The amount of energy that's wasted right at the source, just in oil and gas, is so immense that only something like Bitcoin could potentially even make a dent into it, right? And it's a massive, you know, what I would call impact. Not, is it a massive problem? Is it like, are we on the verge of some, you know, nightmare? I don't think so. But it's certainly something that needs to be dealt with and mitigated, and Bitcoin's a perfect solution for it. I think it should be championed by those who are, you know, environmentalists. I consider myself that way, right? But I don't think that we should stop consuming. I think that we should be more efficient and be more pragmatic in how we deliver energy to market, right?
So, Greg, Greg Foss, that after your first appearance here, were dubbed Gap Daddy Foss, because you were telling us how one morning we'd all wake up, but no, that is not the reason. you were explaining to us that how one day we'd wake up and we'd be at 400,000, like there would be a gap up because of some huge event. That's why we love ourselves some Gap Daddy Foss. What's your comments on that?
So thanks for having me, guys. So here it is. Remember, this is all a rounding error. All right. This is not about whether it's worth 50,000 or 45 or 55, because we're all too smart by a half, right? Like, oh my God, I sold it at 55. I'm going to buy it back at 45. Like, okay, everyone's too smart by half. Let's remember, there's a bunch of things going on in the market now, right today, that is impacting Bitcoin regardless of Elon's tweet or his announcement. Firstly, inflation concerns are front and center for every asset manager in the world, and most asset managers in the world do not have Bitcoin to begin with. All right, so they're wrestling with having all assets that are going to be hit by the inflationary concern. The guys that own Bitcoin, and they may own 3 to 5% of it in their portfolio, which would be a huge amount, they're getting crushed on all their other assets. So what happens sometimes? Human nature, you sell your winners to protect your losers, i.e. if you are getting redeemed on funds, meaning your clients are saying, hey, I'm going to withdraw my funds from your fund. Human nature is to sell your winners. It's actually the loser strategy in the long run, right? You're supposed to sell your losers and keep your winners, but human nature is to sell your winners. So I would argue today, before Elon's announcement, there was pressure in the market to sell your winners. What's been the best performing asset year to date in both performance as well as on a Sharpe ratio has been Bitcoin. Just look at the Goldman Sachs attribution report. Goldman Sachs is now putting pressure on every single asset manager in the world to consider Bitcoin as part of their product mix. So very simply, that's what happened before we see this announcement from Bitcoin or from Elon. What's Elon's announcement? Almost 100% certain it wasn't Elon that made this decision. Okay, it was their marketing department. It's their marketing department that's never studied engineering. It's their marketing department that doesn't realize how much energy and wasted energy goes into producing silicon wafers for solar energy. It's about people who drive to work and use their iPads and actually use their iPhones all friggin' day long and then bitch about Bitcoin being not friendly for the environment. Have you ever seen such two-faced bullshit in your whole life? Yet this is what people don't take account of their own actions. Bitcoin uses less than 10 basis points. That's 0.1% of all energy produced in the world. You want to come at me? Come at me for that number, okay? 0.1% of all energy produced in the world. Oh my gosh, it's bigger than Netherlands. Hey, Danish, no disrespect. Fuck Netherlands. Netherlands doesn't matter, okay? In the whole world, Bitcoin uses more energy than the Netherlands. Well, big fucking deal. Netherlands don't fucking matter, okay? And then they could say, how much energy does Canada use? And I could say, Canada doesn't fucking matter. So everyone is so fucking stupid when it comes down to measuring energy, they don't even do mathematics. So it's 10.1% of all energy produced in the world, and it's 50 basis points or 0.5% of all energy produced for the energy grid globally. Now, how much of that energy is actually wasted because turbines are turning, but there's no toasters and there's no air conditioners and there's no fucking hair dryers and iPads and all this stuff to take the energy. This is really sad. It's sad that people don't understand math. And I'm sorry to bring out the words and the swear words. At the end of the day, when people don't do their math, they're led down the line of misinformation. So who promoted this? This was not Elon Musk. This was some fool in their marketing department that said, hey, this is going to be good because Tesla's good for the environment. Hey, guess what, guys? Tesla ain't fucking good for the environment. It's an electric car that actually misuses and misallocates energy allocation from solar panels right through, because those energy costs are about 22 cents per kilowatt hour, not 4 and 5 cents per kilowatt hour that carbon and fossil fuels. And you don't like fossil fuels, then start riding your your bicycle to work. Stop using your iPad and don't use your hair dryer, Nancy Pelosi. Okay, stop. Fucking
no, but
stop.
it's beyond that. I mean, you're right, Greg. Okay, but it's even beyond that, right? I mean, even riding the bicycle aspect. It's like everything around us, certainly every luxury, but every necessity. The beer can you crack. Right. It was the reason that it was available in the marketplace for the price that it's available at is because of fossil fuels. Right. And because of reliable electricity. Right. Economic and reliable electricity. Somewhere along the line. I mean, it could be the dog food I'm buying, the fact that it's actually packaged and sitting at the grocery store near me and has a certain price. The only way it got there economically is because of fossil fuels. OK, we're entrenched in fossil fuels because it's the means by which we leverage any technology is electricity.
Every single increase in productivity in human evolution has been brought on by the efficient use of energy. Okay? Very simple.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And this is the thing I think that people will miss. And Greg, you touched on it, right? I think this is what people don't understand is and Greg, you could describe it really well, I think, right? We operate the grid at max capacity, essentially, right? We produce enough electricity so that everyone who's hooked up to the grid could essentially turn on all their appliances at the same time, and nobody would notice that like everyone turned them on at the same time and nobody would have any issues, right? So it offers a convenience because then we don't have to have like a schedule where like, okay, me and my neighbors, we get to wash our clothes on Sunday and I'm during the 2 to 4 hours. Otherwise, right, we would have to do that because there wouldn't be enough electricity for everyone to just throw on all their appliances whenever the hell they want.
So it's exactly right. It's called peaking. The grid is built for peak power. On average, the grid is used at 60% of capacity. Okay, 60%. Then you don't shut down, power up and power down coal plants or nuclear energy. It's not efficient. So those turbines keep turning. But if there's no demand for that electricity, there's no batteries to put them in, it evaporates. It's wasted or stranded assets. You need demand for those stranded assets. And that perfect demand is Bitcoin. It fills the gap. Okay, I'm Gap Daddy now, but I'm not Gap Daddy going to 400. I'm Gap Daddy on the electrical grid. It's built, B-U-I-L-T, built for peak consumption. But that peak consumption only hits 9 days in August when everyone has their air conditioners on, right? But those turbines are still rolling, fellas. Those electrons need to go somewhere. Why not put it into the world's, so just let me finish. Why not put it into the world's most beautiful battery ever developed, the most beautiful battery called Bitcoin, a store of energy or a store of value that's built on stranded assets. So simple, yet you get the narrative that it's bad for the environment. Again, look, I'm not going to pick on Netherlands again, so let's pick on Austria. I'm sorry, guys, if it uses more electricity than Austria, it's because it's way more important for the world than Austria is. And by the way, it's still, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll probably jump in on that one because I was in an earlier chat. William Clemente had one on. We were talking with different miners and energy. And what I was going to put out, whether it's funny because they never hold up the fiat, we'll say the fiat industry to the same energy consumption standards. Let's do a one-on-one comparison of what it costs to run the fiat system. Oh, by the way, it's to support a currency that is devalued 20% a year versus the energy needed for Bitcoin. And as you say, one of the greatest inventions for humanity that will be saving people their self-worth. They're in a country with hyperinflation. The money, whether it's expensive or not, is absolutely worth it with Bitcoin. Absolutely, every penny of energy is perfect here. It's not wasted.
I'll take this up.
Okay,
I'll take this moment of silence and just say, Gap Daddy Foss, I appreciate that you gave Holland a lot of heat early on because I'm from Denmark. I'm in Denmark. I appreciate the respect you have. At Plan Marcus, one of my good friends and memers in the chat, he is from Holland. Thank you. I like that. I owe you a beer, Greg. And you're coming to Miami, right?
I'll be in Miami, and the reason I look, Holland or Netherlands or whatever, wherever you guys do all that speed skating and you skate amongst you skate amongst those windmills, which are a beautiful thing. Those are a beautiful engineering marvel, right? Those are beautiful windmills. There's no steel that goes into that.
Or a proxy resin.
Every windmill. Oops, excuse me. Hold one sec.
What we got?
Every windmill, if you guys can hear me.
Issues?
Every windmill has tons of steel in it, right? Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah. I think your video.
Every windmill has tons of steel in it. Those beautiful windmills in Holland and Denmark, and I'm afraid I can't really find it on a map. Those are built out of like real world stuff. All right, not this clown. I'm going to build using tons of steel, which will never get paid back in energy terms, because making the steel is way more energy intensive than the actual wind generated by these steel and fiberglass monoliths. Okay, there's just so much FUD and so much untruths that are circulating in the world. Let's compare oranges to oranges, and one of the best guys I've ever seen doing that is this guy Haas McCook, or Friar Haas on Bitcoin, or on Twitter. Look him up. The guy's a professional engineer. He knows his numbers. I think Elon knows his numbers as well, but he also knows that things that are good for the perceived environment don't always line up with what engineering says, right? So that's the reality.
Well, then he's going to set himself up. He's going to set himself up to mine Bitcoin on his renewable, whether it be a solar farm or wind farm. He's going to set himself up to do that, right? Then he can say, well, we can hold Bitcoin because we make sure to mine our own transactions, and we only, it's like this. When Marathon called out that they mined a clean block or whatever the hell they called it, right? Where all the transactions were approved by their committee of.
Yeah. So the electrons knew exactly where they were going to go down in the little path, and those clean electrons were going to jump over the dirty electrons and going into the mining of Bitcoin.
I mean, no, exactly. I mean, it's what I just said to somebody, or somebody just said, like, somebody had DM'd me on Twitter and said, after this Elon tweet, it makes me think that there's going to be like a premium for Bitcoin that was mined using renewable or green energy and so on and so forth. And I wrote back, I was like, listen, at the end of the day, what Bitcoin does is it obliterates this argument that this moralization of energy, right? This moralization of electricity consumption, that if you consume electricity from here, it's all good because it's a wind or solar. But if you consume this kind of electricity, it's like, wow, man, you might as well just burn down a forest. It's just bullshit, right? It's just a bullshit argument. It's hollow. It's just absolutely factless. And what Bitcoin's going to shine on that is that energy is energy, and some like fossil fuels and hydrocarbons are really energy dense and efficient at bringing energy to market, and wind and solar is not that efficient. Bitcoin helps all of them. Bitcoin helps freaking wind and solar. It helps natural gas. It helps hydroelectric. It helps every kind of energy producer because it gives them an alternative market to sell energy to when the market of human beings doesn't demand as much as they're producing, right? So like you said, it's the most beautiful and flexible arbitrage in terms of an energy consumption market. And that's what people are missing, is that it's a consumer of energy, and it'll consume all of this waste everywhere where people aren't able to effectively bring it to market. It'll make sense for Bitcoin to be implemented, right? And appropriate if the economics work out. And so at the end of the day, this moralization, I mean, they're doing it with everything, right? There's the moralization of medicine, the moralization of freaking electricity. It's an absolute joke, and we need to push back against it, right? This is the time to stand up.
Hey, just a quick shout out. Gap Daddy brought it up. Hey man, the Friar himself.
The Friar himself.
If anyone's new here listening, because what the cool thing was, depending on when you start in Bitcoin, you learn a little bit about the history of Bitcoin and all the characters in Bitcoin. And, you know, he almost single-handedly brought the whole dollar cost averaging idea to Bitcoin, the DCA. So, yeah, Fryer, just so you guys know, he started in 2013. So the class of 2013 is like the class of 2017, came in at the highs. We rode out bear markets. What you're seeing now is not a bear market. Keep your strong hand. You're just getting started. Keep your strong hand. Go along for the ride.
Well, why are you reassuring people? Let them sell. I'll buy their Bitcoin. What are you holding their hand for? This is the free market. Yeah, no one held your hand. Don't hold their hand.
But yeah, Pubby's strategy at the time he didn't realize was the most brilliant ever. So you keep your stuff on Coinbase, and when you get tempted to sell, it crashes and you can't get on.
Yeah, Coinbase goes down. Their servers go down. Yeah, and when it pumps, and so you can't sell it either way.
Yeah.
I just want to say, and this goes to you, Denver. You're not wearing a scarf, but 3 out of 4. Wait, are you scarfing, Cap Daddy, or no? But anyways, we started. You are. You're just the black. The more I like it. So I believe we started 2 minutes past. And it was at that time I just looked at the graph. The price was around 47,000. We up $2.5 grand. I saw
it touched 46 even on Binance. I have the chart right here.
So, but I'll take 47 as the starting point. So I guess 3 out of 4 right now is pumping the scarf pump, the scarf tango, yeah, it's working. I can't believe it. It's this is too good a trading opportunity. Just buy every time Toxic Happy Hour goes live.
Anders, I just heard from the PR department here at Toxic Happy Hour. When it goes up, we're pumping it. When it goes down, we're allowing you to buy the dip.
All right, sounds good to me.
Very gracious. So I want to ask Greg a question in terms of kind of this energy, this FUD aspect, right? Because my personal opinion is that the worst is yet to come, and I think. I don't want to be a doomsdayer, right? But I think some severe regulations are going to come to Bitcoin and specifically Bitcoin mining. I think we're not more than 3 years away. I mean, I think it might happen by the next halving that you got to have some kind of a license or, get some kind of a certification to mine Bitcoin. Certainly at any industrial scale, at any if you're going to consume more than this amount of electricity, you need to check in with the government and get a permit of some sort. I think we're not far from that. Certainly if you want to mine off grid, right? If you're going to be mining on an oil and gas well, I think that could happen. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What kind of things maybe do you fear, or do you suspect are maybe not that likely or are very likely? I mean, what kind of exterior and external forces do you see coming? Because I think there's a lot of environmental FUD on the horizon. I think we haven't seen even the worst of it. Oh, you're muted, man.
Hey, you muted. No, maybe I think it's your signal.
Well, we don't know if we don't know if it's working if you're not talking.
Nah.
No, he's gone.
Let Puppy jump in on this one then. Puppy, I think it's your connection, Greg. I don't know. Maybe you want to. I don't know if you can hear me, but maybe you want to restart the router. You got the link. Jump back in.
I think it's just it's microphone.
We're here all night. In fact, it's 2:30 a.m. for me. Go ahead.
Oh, it's a Greg Foss exit scam. That's all it is.
It's a Greg Foss exit scam. He's rug pulling us. Yeah. Oh no, you can't hear him.
Not yet. So he has a. I think he has an intern in the next room that'll help him log back in. I love the fact. Hey, listen. I love the fact. Here's a great thing with Greg, man. No, with Greg. Hey, us older guys that are in Bitcoin, you have to take the good with the bad. Here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids today, man, they whip around like with these wallets and big. How do you? Why are you using fiat, boomer? You got cash?
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing to see the technology.
Dude, there's some boomers coming around though. My dad's one of them. Yeah. Where he's pretty damn tech savvy when it comes to Bitcoin. To the point where he'll answer he'll answer questions that, like, I'll be in a conversation, you know, at a dinner or something, and he'll jump in and, you know, he's pretty excited and he answers. And he's like, he knows what he's talking about. I mean, he's on. It's cool.
I heard
Dude.
you. Yeah, I was gonna say I heard Adam on with John Vallis. I think you were telling that story.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's good.
So as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm in Denmark for the first time in 2.5 years. I'm home for 2.5 years. Can you believe not seeing your immediate family and old friendships through ancient times? I have the age I can claim ancient times. And so I'm taking the round now, and pretty much every single day, people are like, oh okay, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin, Anders. Relax, you know? So it's that's really cool. And I hope these guys are enjoying the...
Does it work
Yeah,
now,
you're
boys?
back. Oh yeah,
Yes.
what's up?
So
Yeah,
great
you're
question, Adam. I'm sorry about this, boys. Again, I'm 57 years old, right? Like, I've never used this technology, so this is keeping me awake at night. Great question. Look, there's going to be regulation. It's just a fact of people that try and overregulate any industry. So I was just going to point out, what's the best performing sector in the S&P this year? Energy, right? Why is it the best performing? Because all these ESG clowns decided they wouldn't invest in energy. So, you know, you can cut yourself out of a market, but the pure and simple fact is every single improvement of human productivity is made by increasing the efficiency of energy that humans consume and produce. Very simple. Just go through history. It's exactly that. And if we're wrestling over something that happens because one of the world's greatest entrepreneurs decides that, you know, his PR department said that, oh, we're not going to accept Bitcoin, but I'm going to promote this crappy thing called Dogecoin, that, you know, this is part of the things we have to go out and wrestle with. The pure and simple fact is you go back to the first law of thermodynamics, which is the rule of conservation of energy, and you'll realize that Bitcoin solves so many problems of excess energy being produced. Again, you don't power up and down a nuclear power plant because demand in the system has decreased because it's off-peak hours. The system is designed to basically cope with peak loading. Again, those peak draws happen maybe 9 days of the year when there's super hot weather and all the air conditioning is on. In Canada, when there's super cold weather and all the electric heating is on. It's very simple. It's only about producing electrons that need a source of consumption. And most of the time, i.e. 60% of the grid is basically being used. And the other 40% is there. It's on standby. That's not a great use of first law of thermodynamics.
No, it's
Bitcoin solves this. It's the most beautiful battery. Michael Saylor, just listen to the man. He's a walking computer mainframe that's actually beautifully eloquent in his speech. Most engineers like that, they can't even speak, right? They're just so smart. They just, you know, garble and babble like Jaime the robot on Get Smart. Maybe that you guys are too young for that, but you remember Jaime the robot on Get Smart? Same sort of thing. Look, this is so simple, and yet people are confusing it so much because they don't understand the first law of thermodynamics. I'll quote Michael Saylor here.
Well,
Michael Saylor. Romans did not put reservoirs and aqueducts in place because they thought they would need to sell that water to someone else. They put those reservoirs and aqueducts in place because they thought they would need to use it in the future. It's exactly the same thing with Bitcoin, guys. It's digital energy that we will use in the future, and we're harvesting it now using stranded assets. That includes flare gas like Adam's doing. It's a beautiful thing. It includes stranded assets where turbines are turning, but the electrons aren't being drawn by toasters and hair dryers and all that stuff. You put it into a battery called Bitcoin.
I can't let a Get Smart reference go unrequited. Yes, Maxwell Smart. My favorite part was they had the cones of, I don't know,
Cone of silence.
Cone of silence, but they would, each person would be in a cone. They try to talk to each other, and you could hear it outside the cones, but they couldn't.
Well, Chief, I think we better put down the cone of silence right now, right? But you remember Jaime, the robot, and he spit out his. If this is, look, let's not. This is not a funny thing. This is not joking around, you guys. This is about the future, and Elon can do his little games and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, he understands conservation of energy as well as anybody does. And if anyone challenged him on the actual thermodynamics of producing silicon wafers for solar energy, there'd be a big discussion about who's right. So go to Friar Haas. Don't listen to me. Go to someone who's smart, okay? Like Friar Haas. He gets the math. He understands the system. Very simple. Bitcoin solves stranded assets, whether they're flare gas, whether they're electrical grid not at capacity, or whether it's oil tankers offshore of ports of call on the west coast of the United States, like Steve Barber, Adam's good partner, points out. It's a two-faced argument, okay? Very two-faced.
Yeah, okay, but beyond that, okay, even beyond the energy discussion, right? I think there's something that doesn't get brought up about this, right? And I think it's this. It's that how else should we come up with a way in which to fairly distribute the production of new money, right? I think that's part of this discussion, right? Because that's part of the proof of work is, you know, why is proof of work consensus required in Bitcoin? Why do we think it's necessary? I think it's because there's no other way in which we can fairly distribute the new coins, right? Otherwise, we're just picking and choosing. No, we have to leave it to the open market. Who's going to contribute work to the network, solve the next block, they'll get rewarded. I think that mechanism is sometimes lost in this discussion. And it's much better than the central bank model of, you know, this cronyism where you get federal funds rates and money fresh off the printer. And they're seniorage, right? So there's winners and losers, and they get picked by the person that's in control of the money printer. I think Bitcoin's a lot better way. I think it's a more moral money. You know, and I think that it's what John Ballas and I talked about, I think about a week ago now, is, you know, the benefit that it provides to humanity, the utility of allowing people to store their wealth in a way that nobody can take from them, and nobody can debase, right, their labor, their time, the most scarce thing that they have. Nobody can do that. So I think that the utility Bitcoin provides, you know, even if it did have, even if it was like every time you plugged in a Bitcoin miner, you know, the turbine had to spin again, or more coal had to get burned, even if it wasn't beautifully integrated into the energy stack, I think it would be worth it. But it is, Bitcoin, right? It is actually, you know, integrated really well. So the argument is foul, right? And it's honestly kind of a waste of breath, but here we are.
Yeah. Bitcoin is worth every single part. I don't care how much it costs to mine one. I will tell you this. What it produced for humanity, a system that you can remove yourself from government issued fiat bullshit, okay?
It's robbery, right? I mean, it's just theft.
You're stealing lives. You're stealing livelihoods. And
stealing
so
time.
I don't care how much it costs, because, dear God, it is saving lives with people that are living in these countries. Do it in the U.S.? Well, look, yeah, it can be, not necessarily, but damn, Venezuela, Turkey.
I mean, it's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool for individualism.
Alex Gladstein? Did you guys read Alex Gladstein's article? Marty Bent sent it out today. It was beautiful, about 3 different people, one in Ethiopia, I think one in Ethiopia, one in Nigeria, and one in Sudan, all right? And what that meant for their livelihood, Bitcoin. And when it comes right down to it, and this is a statistic I'm drawing from Alex Gladstein, I think only 13% of the world's population lives within the construct of the G7. Okay, that means
Really?
over 80% of the world's population is in countries that are potentially authoritarian, potentially don't allow for freedom of, freedom of investment, store of value.
Capital controls all over the place.
So look, we got to be very careful about our privilege that we have as a G7 or a G20 country. Okay, the reality is most of the world is not privileged like we are. So you got these guys making these rules for people that are privileged when they don't even consider what is actually going on with 80% of the world's population. Okay, read that article. It's a brilliant article by Alex Gladstein. I'll tell you, there's so many smart people in this space. You don't even have time to read all of the stuff and whatever, but all of this is true. Okay, we're at 50,000 right now. I'm putting I'm putting a point in the sand. It does not matter whether it's 50,000 or 150,000. It's friggin' cheap, because Bitcoin will be the future reserve asset of the world. Why? Digital energy used to price natural resource energy. If I'm Russia, I don't want your piece of shit US dollar shitcoin for my valuable natural resource energy, okay? I want valuable Bitcoin. Let's talk in 20 years, fellas.
I think you're right, Greg.
I think Miller called it out. US dollar reserve currency status is at risk. I'm not going to tell you when it's going to happen, but it is going to happen within the lifetime of my kids. So plan accordingly.
No, I think you're right. I think that's how it happens, right? I think it happens through energy producers, right? I don't think people realize how energy really kind of makes the world go round, right? I mean, it's like I described earlier. I mean, everything around me is, it was powered by fossil fuels in one way, shape, or form, whether it be on the manufacturing line or its actual raw materials are derived from petroleum, right? A petroleum product. It's so ingrained in our lives, and it's pretty much every necessity and luxury. When Bitcoin complements and allows the producers of energy to be more efficient and to be more profitable, global reserve status is a shoe in my opinion, because it will become valued by those who produce the world's value, right? By those who really power the world. And once that happens, which I think we're kind of in the midst of that, right? We're in the midst of them discovering this, right? It's a long time discovery process. I think, I think 2030 is going to look a lot different than the 2020s, but this decade is the decade of kind of discovery and iteration and investment. And there's going to be a lot of investment.
This is
a lot of investment into Bitcoin.
Hey, Adam, this is the decade where people who have relied on bonds for the last 40 years to produce income realize that game is over. And they actually need another asset to carry the weight in a balanced portfolio of hard assets, okay? Very simply, bonds are not a hard asset. They are a fiat contract. Fiat contracts are programmed to debase. If you're holding your money in bonds now, guys, you haven't done your mathematics 101, okay? Learn some Bitcoin, learn some fixed supply, learn probability analysis. Very simply, Bitcoin at 50,000 is a rounding error. Am I 100% certain? No. Nobody can be 100% certain. I'll just tell you, though, that on a probability weighted basis, Bitcoin is the best asymmetric trade I've ever seen in 30 years of trading risk, okay?
That's true. That's true. You have so much more experience than everybody else that's usually walking around on Twitter talking about Bitcoin being an asymmetric bet. It from you guys. It fires up the bullish flame inside of me.
Hey, fuck you, Adam. Fuck you. Because
hey, fuck you, Pubby.
We're 50. Greg and I are 50 years and older, and so yeah, we missed the fact that goddamn, why am I not 20 and owning this shit?
Yeah, I don't even have 30 years of experience in breathing.
Yeah, no.
So
I mean, It's so, but I love, man. I love the older Bitcoiner there because I feel left out. Greg is here. Some don't get it. Yeah, we're so tied
No,
into
Greg's.
a legacy
That's what I mean. Is
system.
yeah,
I know.
For his wisdom to conclude Bitcoin and to be as bullish as he is, to be so bullish, because I mean, he's not one to bullshit himself. He's been, you're investing for 30 years.
Yeah.
You don't get there by bullshitting yourself, and so it's
man.
It's kind of daunting to hear Foss's bullishness.
No, what I love about it, because man, I'm trying to think of the first podcast I heard Greg on, and man, he talked about when he first started. Was it the Royal Bank of was it Canada, Scotland that you were at? Yeah, and when you come to that, you get there as a young kid, and you come to the conclusion that you are basically broke. You're basically broke. It is, and everything you believed in life was a lie.
The country is broke.
The country's broke, or the bank is slow, and the only thing you have to back you up is the government that will just print money to save your ass. That's a tough pill to swallow, man. Because we all have families. I know Greg has like military. We have families that fought and died for this belief of our system. They fought and died for belief in what we have is the best way ever. And then to come across that, man, that's a bitter pill to swallow. So I had an instant connection to Greg, man. Honestly.
Oh, me too, man. Greg and I were on the phone early on. I mean, before Greg got Twitter famous. Greg and I we had a phone call because he was interested in what I was tweeting about, and how he was thinking the same thing. He was studying how Bitcoin related to thermodynamics and applying that to the real world. And I think there's a lot of guys like us that are excited right now. A lot of really intelligent people, a lot of really intelligent petroleum, heavy oil and gas engineers that are taking a look at this and understanding it and questioning the current centralized Keynesian dollar system, this infinite money system, and questioning whether or not it's fair, whether it's moral, and comparing it to Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin wins the day, right? I think Bitcoin wins the argument. That's to Greg's point earlier, the fact that this is great for Bitcoin. The fact that Tesla tweeted this out, it's not bad at all for Bitcoin. It's fantastic. It forces the argument. It forces the discussion. Hey, what is Bitcoin's impact on the environment? And I think when you get down to it, the truth is on Bitcoin's side, and it wins the day.
You're absolutely nailing it.
I want to say something here because Poppy said in the green room before, which just like the stream was an absolute pleasure, that Bitcoin didn't need Elon Musk before. Bitcoin doesn't need Elon Musk now. And yes, I know some people will say, oh, but the price of the Tesla buying Bitcoin news, it jumped 10, 20% or whatever. But these are blips on a parabolic move that is there anyway. It is just bumps on the way, bump up, bump down. That's it. Now cancel out. Doesn't matter. We don't need him. And so now that kind of brings me to wanting to hear a little bit about your guys' thoughts on the bull run that we are in. Been trading sideways for 3 months. We've been using the opportunity to stack more sats, but what are your thoughts, Gap Daddy Foss, for instance, on what we're going to see this year?
So I'm not smart enough to answer that, okay? Because I'll give you a target, but not a time, or a time, but not a target, okay? So over time, it is going up. If you want my target, $2 million a Bitcoin is low. Okay, very simple. So that's my target, is $2 million a Bitcoin. I'm not going to give you a time, but if you ask me for a time, I'm going to tell you it's going up.
You say you're not smart enough to give a target, but that's the smartest answer. You don't put yourself in a precarious situation here. It's beautiful.
This is about the next 20 years. It's not about the next 2 months. Do we want Elon? Yes. Look, I'm calling you out, Elon. You're a smart enough engineer. You understand this crap that your public relations department just put out. If you really want to start slaying some mud, let's talk again about solar energy and the true costs of solar energy. But let's stop there and realize that Bitcoin needs people that are really smart, like Elon Musk, okay? Why does it need people that are really smart like Elon Musk? Because most people are not smart like Elon Musk. Most people are dumb like Joe Weisenthal. Okay. I had a huge Twitter war going with Joe Weisenthal, and he's going to tweet, oh, someone dissed me today, and I don't have the brain capacity to listen to these fiat clowns diss me. Well, I'm calling you out again, Joe. You are a danger to society with your podium talking about stuff that you have no right to talk about. Okay? Joe Weisenthal is dangerous. Why? Because Joe Weisenthal never passed grade 11 mathematics. Yet he wants to pretend he understands and can opine on beautiful technologies like Bitcoin being bad versus modern monetary theory that's good, because we're going to print our way to prosperity. Joe Weisenthal, I'm calling you out right now. If you don't have the guts to debate me online, debate me live up, clown. Okay? You're dangerous for the future. And I said we're going to keep this civil. I want to be civil. Let's do it, Joe. Okay? You are no authority on financial analysis. So stop pretending you are. You are dangerous for the future of our children. Why? Because you've not done math. You've not done probability analysis. I cannot be 100% certain, but my probability distribution includes both the good outcome and the bad outcome, Joe. Let's talk about this.
I don't even know who Joe Weisenthal is.
Joe Weisenthal is the editor of Bloomberg Magazine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. I mean, come on. Of course. He's not going to debate you.
Hey,
why? Why? He has the podium.
He doesn't have the courage. He doesn't have the courage.
If someone in the chat could just cut that section out, that was a beautiful rant, man.
That was a good rant. Yeah.
I think
it's true, guys. I have 3 children. I don't need to be listening to these fucking morons. Okay?
No, you're right. Yeah.
This is about the future of our kids, not about some editor of Bloomberg Magazine who's trying to get, more Twitter followers by tweeting out garbage. Please, someone set up this debate. Someone help me. I'll go down to New York. I'll sit in his office. Let's set this debate up, okay?
You realize he's got nothing to win. I mean, there's no win for him in that debate.
Yeah, maybe, but you know what? Maybe he has children as well. I hope that if he actually believes this, then it's a shame. If he's doing this as some sort of farce, then it's non-ethical, right? Let's talk about what real ethics are, rather than flinging dirt at stuff that could actually change the world for the better for 80% of the world.
Yeah. Okay. Well, other than Joe, I'd say in terms of Elon does kind of has, he has some authority in terms of science, right? In terms of environmentalism. And so I think that's why it's disappointing to have to hear his sophomore kind of opinion, right? I mean, it's attributed to him, even though I think you're right, Greg. It wasn't him that obviously issued this Tesla statement. But at the end of the day, right, it's, he is pretty much the head of that company. And so things probably don't really happen unless he gives the approval, right? I mean, he ended up tweeting it. So, I think that's tragic. But he'll just look like a fool in the end, right? I mean, time will make him look like a fool. I don't think Bitcoin doesn't need him.
So what about the next 3 months, guys? We need to work for the next 3 decades and then the next 3 decades after that. All right. This isn't about a 3-month time frame. This is about it's not a revolution. It is not a revolution. It's an evolution. Okay. We are evolving. We are promoting the purest form of monetary energy ever created by man. It's quite simple. It's not about 3 months. It's nice to see the number go up, but in reality, this is all just a stabilization process for the next halving and everything else that'll take place. All right. Lots of neat models out there that'll tell you what Bitcoin is worth. I'll tell you what, it's darn cheap right now relative to what it could be worth on a probabilities basis. That's all.
And I'll jump in here and say probabilities are not what it will be worth, because to me, it's pretty much near 100% probability, if not 100% and a little bit, that we're going way above the $2 million. Like, all logic and rationale speaks to that happening. But Denver, let's also hear a little bit about let's get the moon goose out. If you have anything on, I mean, what do you see for this bull run? Yeah, we like to check in on it.
I mean, I agree with Foss in the sense of, the way that I look at it is, I look at the stranded energy demand. I look at how much energy is out there that doesn't have a home, that doesn't have a market to purchase it, and I run that calculation. And what I find is, in order for Bitcoin to actually make a significant impact in the energy that's wasted and the energy that's stranded on a daily basis, the economics dictate that the price needs to be in the $3, $4, $5 million range, right? So I think ultimately we get there. I think ultimately, because I think the demand exists in the form of this energy, right? In the form of this waste and this stranded energy. And so ultimately, I think that's where we're headed. When we get there, that's tough. That's really hard to say. I think more people are talking about Bitcoin right now. It's more on the forefront of people's minds than it ever has been, even more than when it was at 60,000, whatever, like a month ago, right? I think even now, just the fact that Elon's tweeting about it, this whole Dogecoin run up, Ethereum's, dollar gains have been insane recently. So it's just, people are talking about it. It's on the forefront of everyone's mind. And we're at that turning point. There could be a lot of slippage here in the next, I think the next 18 months are going to be crazy. I'm expecting it to be crazy. It's already been fucking insane the last 90 days. There's not enough hours in the day to talk to everybody. And so, this is part of it. We're building. And what's so cool, kind of like we mentioned earlier, Elon, Bitcoin doesn't need him. Bitcoin doesn't need me, right? I mean, if I stopped mining Bitcoin, trust me, somebody would fill my spot in the market real quick. Because that's how Bitcoin works, right? It's this perpetual and immutable market instead it exists 24/7. Its price is this beat in the sky that drives people to, and we're just watching it play out. I don't think any of us have the ability to really stop it, or it's just going to happen.
What I love is no matter what time you came into Bitcoin, when you look back at its history, I love the entire chart. It doesn't matter what was thrown at it. I mean, that business
a million times
and up. Look, it's done. But if you look at the entire chart, and we have a lot of good memers in here, and they'll meme the fuck out of this. I'm sure. I love it. But no matter what you throw at Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. Bitcoin is a honey badger. Apex predator doesn't give a shit. It will do because it's math, baby. Simple fucking math. That's it.
Yeah, it's ruthless free market, right? It's ruthless trying to find equilibrium.
I mean, just watch over the years. Just watch it, man. It'll get knocked down a bit. Someone will try to manipulate, but as it grows, it gets harder and harder and harder, and it keeps getting up off the deck. It gets up off the deck, and guess what? It says, "Fuck you, I'm going higher. I'm going higher. No matter how much you hit me, I'm going higher." We're not used to that. We're not used to that when you're raised. Let's be honest. For the last 50 years, we've been on a fiat currency standard. We're not used to this type of asset class. We can't mentally wrap our head around this exists yet. Some of us get it. The rest will get it.
I think the guys the smartest people in the world, I think, are the world's engineers. I think the guys that are working on energy, and I think some of the guys that are working on telecommunications and maybe some rocketry are up there. But the guys I'm talking to on the phone every day are so incredibly intelligent. They're such hard workers, so diligent, and have such a ruthless timeline that they put on themselves, right? They're just such hard workers. I mean, these aren't guys that wake up trying to they don't smoke cigars and talk about how they're going to get rich destroying the earth or something. They're not, they've been villainized and they've been painted that way, but I'm dealing with them every day, and they're not that, right? I mean, they're very humble people,
Did you hear the Parker Lewis, Marty Bent podcast, where they're talking about, at the very end of the podcast, they're talking about a petroleum engineer that runs the numbers on mining Bitcoin versus selling his petroleum. And the engineer goes, wait a minute, these numbers cannot be right. And he runs them again. No, they're right. He goes, So why am I even selling my valuable natural resources for anything but Bitcoin? Like, you know, this is what happens when people that understand mathematics get involved, right? The
That's
marginal
exactly right.
consumer always sets the price. Like, if there's 100 million barrels of oil a day that's consumed in the world, who sets that marginal price? It's not the first 95 million barrels, okay? It's the last 5 million barrels. Well, it's the same thing with Bitcoin in the energy grid. And right now you can get it at 4 cents Canadian, but that won't last long. And then all of a sudden it'll be 5, 6, 7 cents per kilowatt hour Canadian. And guess what? That's actually good for the grid. It makes the grid more resilient. It actually doesn't bring on brownouts and stuff that happened in Texas. The grid becomes more resilient because the marginal consumer of power sets the price. And this is very good for the stability of the North American grid. It's that simple. It's really upsetting when people who don't understand how the grid works, and then taking it to your thing, Adam, these CH4, you said it's CH4 plus H2O, or CH4 gives energy plus H2O plus carbon dioxide. Where did most of these carbon offsets come from? They actually come from planting forests. They don't come from, you know, this whole carbon offset is such a game in itself. Oh, Microsoft,
the carbon credits,
carbon
the
neutral.
carbon credit, yeah. No, the carbon
Carbon
credit
neutral at
system
Microsoft. How did they get there? Well, they're just planting forests. They're not actually capturing the carbon footprint. They're just doing a carbon offset. It's math. It's math and games, and you know, you could call it manipulation. I guess manipulation is a pretty trendy word these days. I don't believe that Elon was trying to manipulate this market at all. Okay, I've seen in the twists here, or in the text rather, they say, you know, Elon was trying to manipulate it. I don't believe that's true, ladies and gentlemen. This is about an open market of marginal consumer of power producing a revenue stream. You're going to see some pretty neat mining results come announced from the Bitcoin miners in the next few weeks. And this is all about an open market. This is the purest open market that exists anywhere in the world right now, because everything else is manipulated. The Fed is manipulating every single other market besides Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the purest open market that there is right now.
You know what? And I'll say to your point, Greg, earlier is, you know, talking with, you know, oil and gas and petroleum engineers and these, you know, on-site engineers, when we do run numbers, and you know, they go and they run the numbers on their own, right? They challenge this themselves. I mean, if I don't have very many issues talking to these people and, you know, kind of diving through all the nuance of what Bitcoin is and kind of, you know, what mining on site looks like. But if I do have an issue, it's the fact that the numbers look too good. It's that they see what they're earning, you know, per MCF of, you know, of gas, and they're like, what's the catch? Like, where am I getting screwed? Like, well, this can't be right because it's too good. Otherwise, everyone in the world kind of thing would be doing this. And so like, they're almost hesitant because it looks too lucrative. And I have to, you know, I just tell them, like, listen, I mean, part of it is the fact that that's directly correlated to Bitcoin's price. And so that's volatile, right? So like, take that into consideration. But yeah, I mean, it's quite lucrative to mine Bitcoin today. It's certainly lucrative to mine Bitcoin with a stranded or a wasted energy source. Will it always be that way? Will there be a lot more competition? I think so. But as of right now, with the semiconductor industry, you know, global semiconductor industry, I think if Bitcoin holds price, it's going to be pretty profitable to mine Bitcoin the next, you know, 12, 18 months.
Can I jump? Let me jump in with a question real quick.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to confuse the audience at all. Yep, thank you, Anders. For
this one is a classic. Go ahead. I didn't want to take the word, but you brought it up. It's a classic.
Yeah.
So, no, Adam, and one of the reasons we had you both on here is, number one, you're both early supporters of our toxic little shit show. So thank you for coming back. Two, the energy side of things, I think, is so fascinating. Adam, you have your own side, I think, dealing with upstream and your view. Greg has his side of the house You have people like Steve Barber. There's some people in energy. So what are the commonalities between what you're doing? Is there any overlap? Are they different? So what for the companies here? Because man, you talk about people that will invest in MicroStrategy because they own Bitcoin. Well, hell, the next thing for me is why not buy into these mining companies?
Like the ones that are traded on the New York Stock Exchange, like Marathon and those guys.
No, like you guys.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have tried to throw money at Steve for Upstream Data. I think he's actually done himself a service by not taking on a lot of the kind of vulture VC money that's come his way. But no, I think at some point, yeah, I think it might make sense, right? Like these. What Greg's doing and what is happening at Upstream, it's pretty much similar in the sense of we're mining Bitcoin on a stranded gas source, right? Utilizing natural gas. Greg's doing it on a really large scale, right? He's the engines that they're using, and I mean they're treating the gas to be pretty much absolutely pure, right? Correct me if I'm wrong here, Greg, because the engines they're using are just really massive. Whereas at Upstream Data, we went through the modular size. So we build up to like a megawatt building, a portable megawatt data center. But we also build all the way down to just, for the oil and gas producers that just have a little bit of gas. I mean, it's seemingly a little bit, but it's actually a lot. It could be 30, 40,000 cubic feet a day that they're just venting or flaring into the air. And they could actually turn that into a pretty sufficient revenue stream. So rather than it have, be something that gives them a bad emissions profile and sometimes costs them money, they can turn it into a revenue stream, and that can be like really impactful to their small oil and gas operation. And so we work with we work with a lot of the smaller guys, but we're also building really big projects too. So, but we're not using the turbine scale. The turbine scale is Greg's at the massive scale with those engines. Those things are massive feats of engineering. Yeah. No, Greg, your microphone went rogue.
Greg, I think it may be your connectivity again. Try and say something. We'll let you know. Just do the same as before. You probably need to reset. There we go.
Yeah. No, I wanted to correct me if I'm wrong, but that's, from what I understand about what Greg's doing and stuff, they're at like the massive scale. But I mean, I'll say this: it's seemingly endless amounts of natural gas out there in the world. So just here in North America, it's seemingly endless. Like I don't think people really understand.
They do. Listen, they do. And let me jump in here on this one, because I know in Pennsylvania, where I lived for some time, man, there was a natural gas movement, man, maybe 10 years ago. And people that had farms that were poor, that had nothing left to grow, guess what? They turned into millionaires overnight. Even in Pennsylvania. So
yeah, we got Greg.
Okay, hey, this is funny. Did you see that? Fly over and help me, Danish or Pubby. Like, you're right. I'm so technically inept here, but here's what I know. Thank you for that intro, Adam. Here's the truth. Yeah, we're doing it on bigger scale. Those 35 megawatt engines or jet turbines, those are expensive. So we can't run dirty gas through those. We need to pull a fuel conditioning skid up and clean the gas to run cleaner methane, essentially CH4 through it. But at the end of the day, it's all the same principle. What you guys are doing is so beneficial because it's about taking stranded assets that otherwise vent into the atmosphere, right? If you don't burn it, it's a cow fart and it goes up and it burns through the ozone layer. But if you burn it, it turns into energy plus carbon dioxide plus water, right? And plus other impurities like butane and the likes. At the end of the day, what you guys are doing, creating a revenue stream out of an otherwise wasted resource, there are laws that don't allow drilling to proceed if it exceeds a certain amount of stranded gas or flare gas amount. So drilling oil in the United States is restricted by the amount of flare gas that's being vented into the atmosphere or otherwise burned. What what Bitcoin allows is to dramatically increase the efficiency of removing fossil fuels from the ground. Now, if you do it and you capture the carbon, if you take dual cycle, if you take the heat that's generated or the energy that's generated out of the back of the jet engine and run a steam turbine on the back of that, you can create almost a perfect closed cycle of energy, as Michael Saylor would say.
Perpetual motion.
It's beautiful, guys. It's beautiful. And then you create a store of value. So this is the next step, and this can revolutionize entire economies, which I'm hoping includes the province of Alberta in Canada, one of our most energy-rich, natural resource-rich provinces, that if they embrace this, it could actually change the direction of an entire province and ultimately an entire country. Okay?
I feel the same way in the United States. I mean, I think whoever gets it, first. I mean, Texas is booming right now, but same thing with North Dakota, even Wyoming. Guys in Colorado. Colorado has like some of the strictest flaring laws in the United States because the DJ Basin's really close to Denver. So, there's a lot of stuff even going on here where guys have to, deal with the flare or deal with their gas at some, in some capacity, either send it to a compressor station or what. But Bitcoin's going to fit in perfectly. I mean, no longer are guys going to worry about the flare gas when they go drill for oil because they have a tool for that now, right?
Perfect.
Yeah, they've got a tool for it.
So the four of us start a company. Let me know. We'll start a company.
Way too busy for something like that.
Fuck no. As long as I have time, I only need 23 hours a day to shit post. If you give me 23 hours,
I will say this.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that one thing that's got me pretty bullish. Despite this horrible Elon news that just is so heartbreaking, is the fact that there is so much interest in mining. I think in general, a lot of it maybe comes from crypto mining and guys just thinking about getting rich. But there's a lot of serious interest from what I would call professional minds, right? Engineers and people of the like that. Builders who are now taking a look at this thing and taking it with serious consideration and starting to figure out how to run the numbers and learn about it. And because they're trying to figure out, is this thing a scam too? Right. So they need to educate themselves on all the nuance and actually how this system works, because, to some degree, they need to prove it to themselves that this is legit. And we're in the midst of that, right? We're in the midst of this enlightenment kind of period. And at the same time, the Fed is just flooding liquidity into the system. They're buying $120 billion a month of bonds. I mean, it's a perfect storm for Bitcoin to show its value proposition, and it feels like it's happening. It feels like it's too slow because it's live. I think when we look back, we're going to be like, oh yeah, like we all knew it was coming, we all knew it was happening, but it's hard to feel it in the moment. It's hard to feel it when it's live.
It was inevitable, right? As we said,
in hindsight, it was inevitable, right?
In hindsight, it was inevitable.
Yeah,
this is
exactly
where we're at. Fuck, I'll tell you what, man. There's something going on this last week because I know I say enough stupid shit where I get a certain number of followers that come in here. But I'll tell you what, man. There has been a stream of people coming into the Bitcoin space. They're coming in and they're staying. They'll be staying for a while.
Droves.
Oh, I'm damn, dude.
But they're coming to get rich, right? I mean, a good percentage. Yep. All of them are coming to get rich. Some of them will stay to get free.
Yes, of course.
But it's part of the process, right? Hopefully
it is.
Honestly, hopefully a lot of them get wrecked early, right? A lot of them, hopefully they get wrecked from 60 to 48 and feel some pain and realize that they need to have a longer mindset because it's true.
But they have such better resources now, man. We started.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, I mean, that's been proven to be bullshit, man. I mean, back in the 90s, early 2000s, remember, it was like access to information is what dictates, like wealth gaps and education gaps. And now we have the information age. Everybody has every piece of information for the most part that they could want, and we still have fucking people that refuse to educate themselves. So, I think ignorance remains bliss, and people love to remain ignorant.
No, I remember when I started with Coinbase in 2017. We had 4 fucking coins, man. That was it. You had Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. That was it, man.
Yeah.
Those are your choices.
Pubby knows because he bought the portfolio. He bought the buffet, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did, man.
Oh yeah,
I did.
you got to diversify, right? You got to diversify.
Well, I did equally among 4 great coins, apparently. Hey,
Yeah.
Litecoin. Let me remind you, Litecoin was the silver to Bitcoin gold.
Let me remind you. No, I did. I bought some Litecoin in the beginning too, but then I started off like learning about mining though. So that's why I thought Litecoin actually made some sense as maybe like a test net for to and then it only took me like 30 or 40 days and I realized, yeah, it's just Bitcoin. The rest of them suck, especially proof of stake. That's a scam.
Oh, that was a great one earlier. And I don't know what you guys think about spaces, but man, my total I guess engagement right now, I have earbuds in all day listening.
Dude, let me get this straight though. You love spaces like you're just living on it, but you didn't like Clubhouse?
No, I would have loved Clubhouse, but apparently that's only for Apple.
Oh, okay. So you don't know iOS. Okay.
Yeah. So what
yeah.
Twitter said.
Oh, so sorry. You're just a second class citizen. I wasn't aware of Pubby. That's my mistake.
Okay. No, Twitter said, "Fuck you. We'll bring our own thing in here called Spaces."
Yeah.
And man,
it was inevitable.
There's some quality thought content coming into this area. I love it.
No, I feel the same thing with Club. I mean, Clubhouse can be hit and miss, but sometimes I've had some awesome discussions on there with brilliant minds. I mean, even hang out there. I mean, from NBK to friggin' American Huddle. Those are insightful, insightful human beings.
You're a fucking elitist. That's what you are.
What I am is hungry. I got to get dinner, guys. I got to get out of here.
All right. Thank you, Adam, for all that you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing for the space. All right. I'm proud to be aligned with you guys. This is so important. I just want to leave you with one thought, Adam. You're talking about 60,000 to 48,000. That's measured in this fiat fucking Ponzi. Don't measure it in a fiat Ponzi. All right.
So, measure it.
No. Measure it in the amount of Bitcoin that you own, and we'll talk in 20 years. All right, I don't care.
No, that's what I was saying. I hope I hope new guys got wrecked from 60 to 48 so that they can reset
60,
their time horizon.
60 to 48. What? 60 to 48 of something that's guaranteed to go to zero. Like, come on, that's only math. You're measuring it in a debasing currency.
Well, but you got to level with them, man. If I start telling them
measure it in Bitcoin, barrels of oil, measure it in barrels of oil or in
that's not going to fly
cubic feet of natural gas. Okay, we're going to get there. That's when the world reserve asset becomes Bitcoin, when oil and natural gas are priced in Bitcoin. Enough of this US dollar shitcoin stuff. All right,
I concur.
All right, God bless you guys.
I concur with that.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
guys.
Thank you. All right, are we out?
Enjoy your.
No. We're still running. We're still running. Adam, great to have you on. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, we're still going, and I want to take this opportunity just to throw in a few words and say I love everyone in the chat. And the same way I'm not talking much. It's because I am currently a little bit jet lagged. It is, and on top of that, it's 3:20 a.m. and I rated the bar. I mean, I'm just watching a great show here, and I appreciate having a great co-host, amazing people watching it, and one of the best guests in the space. So
you know what, guys? This is my second time on, right? And I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything you guys have done for me. Why? Not because I'm anything special, but I do have 3 kids. All right. And let's call it like it is. We're not doing this for us. We're going to be fine. Our generations are going to be fine, or not fine, but not bad. It's the future generations that we're stealing from. Okay. We are the most selfish generations in the history, I think, whether we're ignorant to mathematics or we're just selfish because we want to steal from the future of our kids. You decide what it is. Okay. That's disgusting behavior. If we're printing ourselves to prosperity in the present to rob from our kids in the future, I'm not sure who can live with themselves and look at themselves in the mirror. If they actually believe it to be true, then You know, you can only blame your stupid head. But if you know the mathematics, yet you're preaching stuff like modern monetary theory and you understand the mathematics, my opinion is that's almost bordering on criminal behavior. Okay. That is so dangerous and so selfish.
That never stopped politicians or central bankers that there's a problem with criminal behavior.
This is some brilliant stuff, though. Greg is absolutely correct. Absolutely on point here.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing is for many of us to take a step back and realize, yeah, this system is fucked. How do we tell our children? Because I got to look, you got to look your child in the face and say, this is what I'm going to leave for you. This is what I'm going to leave for you. And to look your child in the face, and I know Greg will be on this like Joe Weisenthal, he's got to look his kid in the face and say the same thing. I'm going to leave you with this shit system. I'm going to leave you with something that I will bury you and my grandchildren in debt. That's fucked up. It's totally fucked up. And Bitcoin fixes it.
You know what? So one of the reasons that I'm lean back, chilling, and just enjoying this show is a revelation, really. I guess you could say that, and I'm speaking from about 20% energy level at the moment, but I'm here for the love, as I said before. So I'll give you the word. Let Anders speak. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. Go. But anyway, here goes. So what I'm enjoying at the moment is the fact that when Bitcoin takes over as money of the world, when humanity gets sound money and people are freed from the slavery of central bankers stealing the value of their labor, the value of the time they put in by printing more, that is slavery. That will end with Bitcoin. And why am I smiling? I'm smiling because it is inevitable. I have a front row seat with you guys, with the chat, the people watching who cares about Bitcoin and what's going on. I know we have different levels of education, but I am watching something insanely beautiful unfolding, and the evil forces of this world cannot stop it. I'm having a blast. I don't know about you guys. What do you say?
And let me jump in real quick because I'm going to hand this one off. One, Miami conference. First time we're ever going to meet, man. So let me tell people out there, what I love about Bitcoin is it's been 3 years, 4 years of just loving each other, talking to each other, learning from each other. I'm going to pass this one on to Greg because when it comes down to it, yeah, Bitcoin moving forward. I'm curious of Greg's take on now the true inflation rates are finally coming out and people are waking up to the fact that, oh, what the fuck do you mean? Inflation is more than the CPI.
So great. Thank you, Pubby and Danish. Listen, let's wrap it up with this. All right. You're right. But CPI itself is manipulated. Let's use a measure that I'll borrow on Michael Saylor again. Perhaps the growth of the money supply is an absolute perfect measure of what the true inflation rate is. And it only makes sense, right? Because if you have $4 outstanding and you print another $4 and the rest of the world hasn't changed, doesn't it make sense that that dollar is worth half as much? And therefore your house appears to be worth twice as much in that unit of account that they just created more of. So I'll wrap it up with this. Bitcoin Twitter is the most optimistic, the most energized space I've been exposed to in my entire life. All right. It is beautiful that people are actually unselfish. Okay. I honestly believe that the Bitcoin Twitter community is the most unselfish community I've ever been exposed to in my life. And you could say that we're here to make money, or I would argue we're here to change the world. And that's the most important thing. If you have decided to have children in your life, and then you are going to hand them this dog's breakfast called a fiat system, We want to hand them a system that's better than a dog's breakfast, okay? We are going to hand them a system called Bitcoin, where it's math and code, and there's no messing with math and code. And at the end of the day, it will make egalitarian free markets free again, okay? Because any market right now, by and large, is being manipulated by the Fed, by modern monetary theorists that think they're going to print their way to prosperity. Come on, guys. This is really serious. This is not a drill. We have children. We're responsible adults. We're not a bunch of drunks who are going to pass the dog's breakfast to our children in the morning, okay? So please, do your mathematics. I look forward to seeing you guys in Miami. This is going to be fun, but it's going to be serious as well, because there's a lot of people that don't understand what we're trying to do. And all we're trying to do is make the world a better place. We are not stealing from anybody. We're actually giving to people. Bitcoin Twitter is a community of givers, not takers. Okay? That's what I've learned in my 1 year on Bitcoin Twitter. It's a community of givers. The Bitcoin core developers, these are beautiful people doing stuff for almost free to try and develop a better technology. Okay? This is, I've never seen anything like it. Open source software ultimately wins. And I want to be part of that. And I'm very proud, pleb from Canada. Thank you for having me.
Great.
Hey, I just want to put this out there. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, if
Yeah.
you got to be somewhere, get Daddy Foss.
I've almost put my foot in my mouth so many times here. So the only thing I want to leave the world with is I want to debate Joe Weisenthal. If you guys look him up, whoever he is, if he doesn't matter, I think he matters because he has a podium, and I'm a rounding error compared to him. But I'm telling you, he's wrong. Okay, and he's wrong, and he is dangerous. And that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. I will debate anybody at any time because it's that important. People who haven't seen 30 years of risk management, I'm pretty sure Joe has never traded risk in his whole life. He might have read a few textbooks, but he's never traded risk, okay? And trading risk is all about playing probabilities and changing your tune or your investment thesis when the facts change. I'm really, really, really looking forward to the day that Joe admits he buys Bitcoin. And I'm almost certain it'll be at a price of about $480,000 per Bitcoin. That's my prediction. 48,000. Excuse me. 480,000. Okay. Maybe he bought it tonight. Maybe he did buy it at 48,000. 480,000, 10 times from where we are tonight. That's when these monkeys are going to buy it because they finally understand what it's all about.
I love it. I want to say this. I never traded probability, but I loved it since I was able to walk, I think. It's just phenomenal. And it helps you to allocate your funds, your savings to different assets that with the probability you put it out in the right collection
mix
the right amount. So it at the end of the day, with the probabilities as they play out, you're gonna be in a sweet spot.
So yeah, or my kids, right? Look, I'm not 100% in Bitcoin. I'm not telling people that are not to be. I just manage my risk profile differently. I'm actually quite excited that the price has gone down because I'm not at my full allocation right now. Okay. So what do? I get up to my full allocation or higher, and I continually trade risk based on price and information. And the information we have today is nothing. Elon saying that Tesla won't accept Bitcoin for Tesla models is about as significant as Krugman saying the impact of the internet will not be much more than the fax machine, okay? Don't overthink this. People that don't do their research should not be listened to. People like Bitcoin Twitter who have done years and years and years, Jeff Booth, Preston Pish, okay? These guys have absolutely researched this to the core, And Jeff Booth isn't in this for the money. He's in this to help shape the future.
Otherwise, he wouldn't be on this show when we had like 300 subscribers. He came on and spent some of his valuable time because he loves to help the course, like we all do.
He wrote I'll go out and say it. Before I said it was one of the best books I've ever read, I do believe that his book, The Price of Tomorrow, is the best book I've ever read in my life. And I think I've read some pretty good books, but I will go out once again and say this book, The Price of Tomorrow, is the best book I've ever read in my life.
So, okay? You know, the challenge is now we'll have Jeff back, Jeff and you on the show.
I'd love to. We're together in Miami though, right? That's one of the guys I'm pitching with in Miami. So
listen, yeah, Miami is going to be fantastic. Obviously, yeah, you're going to be there. I get to be out with Preston Pitch will be there. Jeff Booth. I mean, you guys are fantastic. And here's the beautiful thing about the Bitcoin community. And I know how much you love it. I know you love it because you come and you hang out with the plebes, man. You come out and hang out with the plebe. I know
I'm a plebe.
I know. But all these people have this, they finally get it. They get it and they're here. And here we go, baby.
Okay, so let's meet up in Miami, fellas. Look, I really hope again, you know, I say some emotional stuff. It's only because I care. I'm not, I don't believe I called out anybody unethically here. I like math. I think math is the base layer of language. Okay. Someone bet how many times I would say that on this podcast. Yes. Well, here's my second time. Mathematics is the base layer of language. Let's drink to that. And there's too many people in the world that are illiterate to the base layer of language. Okay. Please learn mathematics, everybody. I love you guys. Thank you very much for having me, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you in Miami, Greg. Thanks for coming on. We love you. Our viewers love you. The chat loves you. Everybody loves themselves some Gap Daddy Foss. Thank you, man.
Gap Daddy Foss. Right there.
No.
It's good. It's good. I love it. I love it. See you, boys.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you.
Look, if you want it, you got it.
Oh,
all right. Here we go. Here we go, puppy. Who's gonna do the rock poll now? You or me? Who's gonna rock poll?
What do you mean? That was it. We're fucking done. Let it go.
Yeah. So maybe now's the time. Either I should tell you we're offline, we're all good. You can just speak openly.
Yeah.
Or I should be honest.
No, be honest, man.
Well, we're live.
Oh, fuck! We're always live. Fuck. What rock poll? Who else wants to jump in? I don't fucking care.
No. It's all good. All right.
And listen, man. So, hey, Greg Foss is Greg Foss, man. Yeah, I love that motherfucker as always, man. I love him. Who can't? Who cannot love Greg Foss? He tells it like it is.
Yeah.
He is a Bitcoiner in full persona.
In heart, in mind, and in passion.
Everything.
Yeah, look, really, when you come through, you come by people who are Bitcoiners who really educated themselves and start to understand what sound money is about, how that's going to free up humanity, how it's going to bring about, let me quote Jeff Booth, a world of abundance when we have deflationary money instead of this fake, scammy, Ponzi, inflationary money where people have convinced 99.999% of the population that, hey, it's good for you that we dilute the value of your savings. No. We keep you in a job. We steal your money, but you get to keep your job. Well, guess what? Before we have this scammy Ponzi money called fiat currency like USD, Euro, etc., people had jobs. And in fact, the productivity growth of the United States, I know I said it before, I'm going to say it again, has never been as high as when we were on sound money before the Federal Reserve, which was gold, which wasn't even as sound as Bitcoin is. That's the 2% inflation. But from the year 1873 to 1892, 20 years, the productivity growth in US was almost a factor 3. What can I say? Yeah, this is not a drill, as Phoenix is saying.
Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
know what to add to that, man. I don't even. What I think is fantastic is with the energy talk. Um, God, the FUD that they're throwing out there, the fucking FUD. And what I mean by this is they don't hold that same critical eye. They don't take that same viewpoint when it comes to any of the industry. All of a sudden, Bitcoin is this evil monster. I never understood what. Well, take that shit and apply it to fiat, because I'll tell you what, fiat is worthless.
Yeah.
When you
Well,
want, when
okay, so Puppy, we already established that Bitcoin already won. Bitcoin is going to somewhere between, some bears were calling out $2 million. We'll forgive them because we love them.
Yep.
But we both know we're going double digit $1 million per Bitcoin. So let's just say all of that is established. If you want more argumentation, go back. We have lots of videos on the channel. So now we're through that. Bitcoin already won. We're going to take over. It's going to become worth
Game
a lot of
over.
money. All you need is 0.1 Bitcoin to have financial independence. That'll be, in my opinion, $2 million in a world where prices drop. All right, that's going to be enough for financial independence. So why don't we hear a little bit about what are you experiencing down where you are right now? And can I say where you are? Is it public or
Just
right?
Central America is fine. It's good. Oh, but I'm not really experienced much, but it's a fiat country. They're all a fucking fiat country at
Right.
this point. That most people don't realize how early they are into Bitcoin. They have no clue that they can actually take. They can take a currency being debased daily and turn it into the hardest currency ever.
Imagine that there's to this day people willing to sell Bitcoin for just dirty fiat.
Yeah, sure.
Granted, they came in early, most of them, and they bought up so much Bitcoin that they need a little fiat to, buy whatever islands they need to buy. But yeah, the way it's trending obviously is that people won't be selling.
Mm.
They won't be accepting fiat anymore. Eventually, fiat just becomes worthless in terms of you can't buy Bitcoin with it because people realize, no, I'm not letting go of my Bitcoin for fiat. It's dirty and it's a Ponzi.
So you're finding a lot of that, and yeah, I was talking earlier about spaces coming in. Spaces coming in strong on Twitter. Yeah, there's some good chats out there. There are some good chats out there with some smart people coming in and talking. And yeah, that's my question. First time we talk about energy usage. I mean, Bitcoin's the answer. I don't know where else to go with this, but Bitcoin is the answer to so many problems.
Yeah, it is. And it takes time. Like you need to spend, I don't know, I mean, a year or two or something to see all the nuances really that there is in Bitcoin, and you start to understand it's way more just than money. It's way more than just bringing financial justice to the people being punished by the dirty fiat money printing system, which hurts the people at the bottom of society, which is obviously unfair and unjust. It's much more than that. It's freedom. Actually, I was sitting with I had a visit from my mother's brother. I guess you call it uncle in English, right? His
Mm-hmm.
wife. They visited. I haven't seen them for 2.5 years either, and they were making a little bit fun about Bitcoin is echo chamber or something, and I couldn't stop talking Bitcoin, obviously. Trying to control myself, but come on, every single problem people talk about, Bitcoin is the solution. And at one stage, I was just like, screaming out that, we're not just, some echo chamber over there. We are the frontline soldiers in this war of humanity and human independence and freeing us for that slavery where they keep stealing the value of our labor through printing
So
more
true.
money and diluting the value of the savings that we got from the labor of our work
So true.
or the fruit
Well,
of our labor, whatever.
No, and he probably won't get it. But it's true. That's what we're telling them were facts. I mean, what else can you say? Absolute fact. Um, you bought into a system of a currency that devalues the work you've already produced. Sorry, dude, but that's what you did.
But Puppy, I even like I love talking Bitcoin, you know that. But for some reason, I want to move on and hear about. So what are we gonna do in Miami? Let's talk a little bit about life outside of Bitcoin. What are we gonna do in Miami? You and I are gonna meet for the first time. It's gonna be a ball. So
DM's already blowing up with people that, hey, let's fucking meet up in Miami. It started early, but yeah.
So where are you hearing this? Where are you hearing all this? Let's meet about the DMs.
The DMs through Twitter, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Pubby. Hey, listen, Pubby, let's have a beer. So I got a lot of beer to drink, obviously.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, I'll have
so,
one. I'll have one beer with you.
well,
So that means you got 200 beers to go through with the people that DM'd you.
Got 5,000 beers in front of me. It's okay. I'll make it happen, man. No, it's gonna be so surreal. You know what's fantastic is I met so many Bitcoiners online as talked about. I never met a Bitcoin in my life. I remember, shout out to Lucky, the
Lucky Seven.
Lucky Seven. Yeah. Dude, we met in real life, and let me tell you, just don't stop fucking talking. So that's what you're going to find for all these people that will fall in love with each other because they talked online for 3 years, and then they meet for the first time. Dude, you can't keep talking.
Yeah. You were cutting a little bit there. I don't know if it was my connection, your connection, but Restream is telling me it's your connection. But nevertheless, so MG Smith 4 said about Miami. I'll just throw it on the screen again. Alligator steaks, thong bikinis, and mojitos. You can't really complain with that. Which leads me to one question, Puppy. Have you ever had alligator steak?
Yeah,
Alligator steak?
No, I've had
Good.
alligator. Yeah, no. So I've had it a few ways. Some they do like chicken nuggets. They deep fry it. But man, the best way is when you can season it, put it in a saute pan.
Yeah. So it really tastes like a fish with. So I lived in Australia. I don't know if Aussie's still there. She probably left the building, but I had my alligator in Australia. I lived in Australia, right, for some years, and in the outback, there was they serve kangaroo, alligator,
Oh,
and it's a fairly like tasteless. It's a bit like a tasteless fish, but you put some gravy on that. You need some sauce on it. You know, it's that white fish flesh. It's good. Not a lot of taste, but
have you ever had ostrich before?
Probably okay. I'm gonna take a risk now, and this is very risky. The chat knows this is risky. Your connection is not super good. You're gonna need to do a gap Daddy Foss, I think. Lockout, reset, come back on. The question is, will you come back on?
Oh, yes, of course. That means no.
I'm right here. I love you. Come back, okay? You can do this.
Maybe come back. Yeah, who's got that? All right, yeah. Fuck, I'll try to.
You got it. You got this.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, actually, I can. I can. So, to me, Miami, the highlights are gonna be meeting my friends in Bitcoin. Unfortunately, not everyone can make it,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are gonna be there, and that's gonna be a ball. That is to me way more important than listen to the speakers. So of the speakers, which of the speakers will you watch for sure and listen to? We got Tony Hawk, right? Tony Stark. We got Tony Stark on his skateboard. He's coming.
There anymore. I know I became a guy kicked off the stage. Who's left? Who's left as the
Dude, Puppy, you're cutting out. You got it. Yeah, you gotta try doing a rock pull, but remember to unrock pull, okay? Okay, here we go. So that leaves me with the chat and well, you guys watching and yeah, Tao Comic says it, come back Puppy hashtag. So I don't know. Let's you guys have any issues in the or topics in the chat you want to discuss? What we got here? Francis Blue talk should be good. Oh, he's talking as well. Definitely, definitely. There's a freedom fighter there. Canadian. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Canadian that moved away from the totalitarian developments in Canada, moved down to a freer country. I don't know if he wants us to say it or if it's like secret anyway, but he moved down further south, not more free country. Yeah, good question. Is he coming? Well, if MG Smith says he's talking, so I guess so now here's the question. Puppy's been gone for a lot longer than Gap Daddy Foss. Will he make it back? I don't have my money on Puppy coming back, I gotta tell you. Yep, just me like look, 4 guys enter, 1 guy leaves. That's how it is. Wait, so we got Dub D. What's Dub D saying? How y'all doing? Scoot on some barking BTC, cause gotta. But yep, absolutely. So I bought the dip just before we started at 49,400. That was actually partly. I was partly to blame for the 2 minutes delay because I scrambled just through. I didn't have a lot of dry powder, but I scrambled through something at it. Now we're at 50,200, so almost up. I basically played the THH Scarf Tango or the Scarf Pump trade, made $100, you know, on the Bitcoin. Anyways, what else we got here? What is it? We're also enjoying all season with S, ADA, and such. Nah, I don't enjoy that. I don't like it. It's gonna end when Bitcoin starts pumping again. All that garbage is, yeah, it's gonna. And probably today with the correction. I haven't checked the other coins, but I bet they're down like twice as much as Bitcoin. So yeah, that's all good. They're gonna start driving up. Yes, it's a good question. When will Bitcoin start pumping again? I'd say it's. Oh my God! I just lost a beer. I didn't have the ability to win a beer. I had ability to lose a beer, and I just lost it. Puppy, I lost a beer to you because you actually made it back.
oh, what you thought I was out? Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
You know, well, look, I just speak from experience. That's all.
Hey, listen. If I'm on East Coast time, that's one thing. But you gotta remember, man. You're dealing with shit like Africa or Central America. Stuff goes down, man. Stuff goes down quickly.
Yeah.
No one knows that until they travel. They think everything just always work. Oh, this is fantastic. It's perfect. No, motherfucker. Guess what? You're in Africa or Central America.
Then it's not.
Then it's not.
Perfect.
Fuck that. Yeah. So what are we at, man? So what are we doing, man? What are we talking about now?
Yeah. So yeah, no, honestly, so it's not Bitcoin related, and yet it is. As I said earlier, this is that it, you know, it's on my mind right now. I'm just really, really happy because I'm seeing, you know, people I love for the first time in 2.5 years, man. It's a long time. Have you ever been away from, you know, your home where so many people that you care about are? I mean, of course, I have family in the US, but you know, most are back here, and it's just great. It's great to be back, and it gives me a chance to tell everyone about Bitcoin. And a friend of mine, this was Saturday. This guy is so funny. We studied bachelor together. Him and his brother, like some of the most funny people I've ever met. So we every day after school we sat, we studied together. They cracked me up. It was a live stand-up show. This is why I love my bachelor so much. These guys, and I convinced him of Bitcoin during this evening Saturday. So he ended up saying, "All right, this Bitcoin thing sounds good. Question is, how much do you dare to put in Bitcoin?" And my response was, well, how much do you dare to have outside Bitcoin? Assets are going to be repriced. Once the interest rate hits what's free market, stocks are going to crash. Real estate's going to crash. This is not financial advice. This is my personal opinion. Like, before COVID, I think most people, and I remember even in Bitcoin, the narrative changed that from, hey, we might be all in a Bitcoin, or been pretty allocated to Bitcoin, whatever, but there's some risk associated with that. After COVID and the speedy dilution of fiat currency, US dollars, printed 40% more since COVID, um, artificial interest rates, it's just risky, in my opinion, to be in those traditional assets. They may not crash right now because they're printing so much money, they're keeping it alive artificially. But once the
Right.
free market interest rate enters at 10-15%, those mortgages are going to be so expensive that those houses are going to.
It's gonna be bad, man. There's gonna be a fucking crash. It's gonna be a big crash. Damn. I wish I knew what to say. I really don't here, but look, buy Bitcoin. Just hold it off to the side. I don't care if it's 1% or 5%. Just do a little bit, whatever you can afford. Yeah, total financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to like sell all your 401k and convert it. You probably should, but I won't say it. Man, that's a tough one, man. Especially when you have friends
Yeah,
involved.
yeah. So I had tonight I was with my mother, and then my uncle, his wife. It was the four of us. They're very conservative. They're very conservative, but careful and everything. And I told them, like, I'm not saying you should go out and sell your house to buy Bitcoin, or go all in, but it is ludicrous not to have a minimum. And I'm all in because I think
Yep.
it's the best thing to do. But it is ludicrous, even if you don't understand Bitcoin or like Bitcoin, or you listen to some of the FUD, if you don't have minimum 2%, like minimum, then you're really playing Russian roulette with your financial and your children's and your grandchildren's financial future, because you're ignoring the best performing asset mankind has ever seen over a 12-year period. So you think that it's okay not to do the self-education, the research. When you see an asset perform like that, you're just going to listen to what other people say instead of choosing to educate yourself. You think it's okay to risk your family's future, well, financially, by ignoring something mankind has never performed. Look, no bubble ever lasted 12 years. It is not a bubble. Bubbles don't last 12 years. That's one or two seasons. This is disruption of the financial system, of the monetary system, which, by the way, is the most
Uh,
important commodity in the entire world, because half of all transactions are
Andrews,
money.
you didn't hear works here. We're crashing next year like the tulips. Tulips in tulip season. Here we go. What the fuck? Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck that means about crashing. But man, I'll tell you what. Um, that's the hardest part of people that have been around here for 4, 5, 6 years. You talk to your
Yeah,
family. At the end of the day, fuck. I've given my spiel. Um, what I don't know what else there is to say. You either get it and have some balls to join in, or you don't. Fuck,
yeah,
I, I'm almost done with it, and that's why I love you know, people always ask, "Hey, Pubby, what's your favorite meme?" I always love to have fun staying poor. And Udi, I don't know if he's a shitcoin or not. We've had him on the show, but what I loved about it is like, fuck yeah, you know what? I'm out of answers for you. Have fun staying poor. I'm out of answers. I'm out of. You have so many questions. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Just go.
The thing is, it kind of comes down to, someone else said this. I didn't make it up, but I like, I relate to the concept of, we are stacking for our friends and family as well. We're stacking for the people who refuse to do the self-education. Do they deserve it? Well, people get into Bitcoin when they deserve it. Is a saying. It can sound a little bit arrogant, but is it our responsibility? I don't know. But if you have family and friends you love and they refuse to take that step of self-educating, then we kind of need to stack for them, if we want to take care about them.
Oh fuck! Are you stacking for me then? That's cute. Thank you.
Well, since I saw that William Clemente III did some on-chain analysis and saw that you pulled out your 15,000 Bitcoin from Coinbase and crashed the website and caused a whale movement on-chain, I don't think I'll be able to make any difference in your life. Oh, that was, I quickly got to say, everyone knows it's a joke, but if there's one person out there that doesn't, yeah, we don't hold that kind of funds. But
no, I like to keep my Bitcoin on my cell phone. It's next to me all day, every day.
Yeah. And that cell phone obviously has the cold storage on your favorite exchange. Well, kidding. Anyways, so the last couple of nights, I think I said that already, right? Or was that in the green room? I can't remember, but I've been passing out blank at midnight, like dead. Couldn't keep my eyes open. And here we are, it's 4 a.m. and I've been dying at midnight. But I'm past Marty's out, a good buddy that I can't wait to see a buddy in Miami. Is saying that I'm pulling an all-nighter. Yeah, I'm past that point of being tired. At some stage you just start running in fumes, and el clásico.
I can't really improve upon that, man. That's a beautiful thing. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Oh,
so have you heard any more? Have you heard any more about Benji's BTC Ben, BTC Benny, BTC Sessions, his karaoke night in Miami? Is it happening? Because he was doing it with Stefan Livera, and he's not getting out of Australia, is he?
Oh, probably not. We'll see. But fuck, yeah. Goddamn, Canada has turned into such a lockdown country. What kind of bullshit is that, man? Jesus, I feel bad. Hell, half our friends from all our Australian friends.
You know what's funny?
Are fucked. Yeah.
So I have only been in 2 countries during COVID, right? US, and now I'm in Denmark visiting. And the way the countries approach COVID and what you can do and what you cannot do, they're very different. And I'm like, wait, isn't there supposed to be science behind it saying like what you could do and what you cannot do? Like in LA, everyone's wearing a mask outside when they're walking around. Here, it's like, oh no, we outside, it's good, you don't need to wear a mask. Like, I came out from the airport, which has huge ventilation and everything, and you have to wear a surgical grade mask in the airport, or they will shoot you down. And
yeah.
So I come out of the airport, and my mom is picking me up. Other people standing there waiting, and no one's wearing a mask. And my first thing was, because I've just been through 20 hours of traveling where you at gunpoint are wearing your mask.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, Mom, you're not wearing your mask. I'm thinking like about all the you know, people would come and say, oh, and I came out and everyone was just standing with no mask. It's like, wait, what? But in US, the sign says you gotta wear a mask outside. But here, the sign says something different. Help me out.
In the US,
Beam
it's
me up,
fucking
Scott.
it's a fucking lie, man. The whole thing is a lie. I'm going to lose some followers over this, but the mortality rate is a fucking lie. And yeah,
Right.
I don't mind losing followers on this because I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, anyone under the age of 60 is getting a vaccination shot for a disease that is 99.97% avoidable. Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know
Yeah.
anymore. What's
Yeah.
going on? Hey, buy Bitcoin.
Whatever you do, do not forget priority number one for the safety and the future of your family and the generations coming after you. You should definitely consider very strongly to buy some Bitcoin. MG Smith has a question for me. Are bars and restaurants open in Denmark? Actually, they are. So here's the thing. After at 10 p.m. they shut down. Then there's another thing. Well, just like everywhere else in the world, when you're walking around in the restaurant, COVID is contagious when you stand up, but once you sit down, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
And so they have this thing here in Denmark. They have a lot of testing centers. It actually works really, really well. You don't waste a lot of time there. You go up, you get tested, big capacity, boom, you're out. 1 hour later, you receive a PDF on your phone with the results. Now that's valid for 3 days. So you go get a test. It's negative for 3 days. You can go to restaurants and bars as crazy as you want. Oh, by the way, so in the weekend I'm going to Sweden to visit one of my very good friends from high school back in Australia.
Oh, you
Yeah.
say she's just a friend, and you say she's just a friend. Oh, baby, you got what I need.
Oh, you say she's just a friend.
The friend.
Oh, that's such a was it Mark? What's the name? What's the name of that song? That's such a good song, man.
Oh,
Bismarcky. Bismarcky.
Bismarcky, baby.
Bismarcky. You
Oh,
say she's
baby,
just
you got what I need.
and you say he's just a friend.
The friend.
And you
And you
say he's
say
just a
he's
friend.
just
Oh,
a
oh,
friend.
oh, oh, you got what I need.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Bismarcky. Goddamn. Those were good times, man. Those were good times. We didn't wear a mask or anything.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great song. It's on my playlist still. I love it. You know, I got classics, I got new songs. But look, sometimes just nothing like the classics, puppy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm with you. The classics are fantastic.
It's
The
you
classic
know,
here is called Victoria. Whoa.
there you go. Now, Us is gone, I can see from the chat, but I lived in Victoria and the main beer there was Victoria Bitter. It was actually not bad. Foster's, no bueno. No bueno. You've been to Australia, I'm sure. Foster's, uh-uh.
Fuck no.
Victoria Bitter was the way to go in Victoria.
I've been to New Zealand and Timor-Leste, East Timor, but no, I've not touched foot down on Australia yet. I'll get there one day.
You're kidding. You've been to what, 120 countries? And
100
Australia, which
countries.
is a continent? You've not
Yeah.
been there?
Not yet. Don't judge me.
But you know what? I'm not going to blame you if you're not going to go now because they have gone full totalitarian. Oh, wait, I told Ozzy that. And she
She
put me
knows.
in my place because she said, some states, but not Queensland.
Oh,
Apparently,
fuck.
Queensland's cool. They're not.
Yeah, they're different.
Right.
Bring out the week. Oh, hey, man. Hey, tell the chat about the time You had the Miami weed guy on.
The
That's a
what?
good story. The Miami weed guy. Come on.
It was early days. Can you believe, Puppy? Can you believe that there was a time that we were more amateurs than we are now? Can you believe that there was a time?
No, I can't. I can't.
It's hard to believe.
No, so basically, yeah, Pubby went to bed early, aka passed out, whatever. And then
Yeah, and then I was like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's keep the show rolling. I had Artie on and a guy from Miami who did smoke, I guess, a lot of weed on air. I guess,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah. Now we get takes like from Marty Zhao. Aussie is a bloke.
Everybody knows that Ozzy's a guy.
Is that true?
He just likes the attention of putting up a female profile pic. You know, everybody knows that. Did I call it a she? He or she? It's a guy. He's a good guy though. It's a good guy. Oh, let me tell you. I'm gonna. I think I brought my Hawaii shirt to Denmark because it's still cold as F. But
Oh,
let me see if I have it. If I do, I want to show it to
Well,
you, and you tell me if I'm bringing this to Miami. All right?
no, do it.
All right. What are you laughing at?
At Missy saying Dick Whitman tweeted the daddy rant already. I love it. Fucking Greg, man, you can't keep him down, man. I love
him. God, I love that guy.
He just fucking goes. Beautiful.
Marizal, is Marizal still watching? I mean, I don't blame him if he's not, but I have something here for him, honestly. Marizal is there. He's saying few, and he knows that Ozzy is a bloke. All right. Hawaii shirt coming up number 2 first. So this is the shirt that I wear to make for this, to honor Marizal. He likes birds.
Oh,
This is my bird shirt, right? It's cool. I love it. And here's so the question to you now, Puppy, is should I bring my Hawaii shirt to Miami? Bear in mind that I've got big logo on the back there.
Why can you not have a Bitcoin shirt? Is that impossible?
I have a Bitcoin shirt, dude.
Yeah.
I have one.
No, I want you to wear it because I won't wear one next to you. I want you to get wrench attacked next to me. I want to see you guys just knocked the fuck out. Yeah, that'd be good.
Wait, what?
No, so my strategy is that you wear all the Bitcoin paraphernalia, and then you get the fucking wrench attack.
I get a what?
Wrench attack, man. You get hit with a
wrench attack. Yeah. Dude,
yeah.
like I mean, good luck getting anything out of it because I'm making sure no one. I mean, you'd be crazy if you bring any Bitcoin of value to Miami, right?
Anders, you're such a liar because I know you just told me offline that you had 10 Bitcoin on your phone. You liar.
Yeah, right. Like anyone will carry around a fortune on their mobile phone. Yeah, okay, but I see you're getting me back because I told everyone you had 1,500 Bitcoin. You bastard. You're getting even.
Hey, it's gonna be good though, man. To me, so many great fucking people.
Yeah.
That we get to hang out with. Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
Let me say this: it's going to be party of the plebes. This is not about, it's not about. There's some great celebrities in the Bitcoin space. This is about us, the plebes, getting together, getting to know each other, having a drink, visiting different establishments, where they have ribeye and drinks,
Hey, we run the show here, man. We run the fucking show.
We do. Plebes do. All right, man. So, what do you
Yeah.
say? I really need to go, as we say in Denmark,
Wind it down.
pour the water from the potatoes.
Yeah, we gotta wind it down. I got to get up tomorrow. I got another big day here on the hamster wheel. But fuck, I can't wait to jump on some chats. Just to wind it up with Greg Foss in Denver. Man, those guys are at the you're meeting two guys at the cusp, the beginning of an amazing industry. When it comes down to Bitcoin mining, fuck. The world is their oyster.
Right. It is. They're smart. They're brilliant. They're making moves. They're mining. I mean, they're mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But and I just want to say that is not. A lot of people say, "Well, should I mine Bitcoin?" My answer is no. Like these guys happen to have a background in this energy field, so it makes sense to have the expertise. Mining Bitcoin at home from a computer is gonna do it at a loss. You're better off just buying the Bitcoin. It's very specialized. You need access to extremely cheap energy, and the latest miners to turn any profit in that.
True.
So, yeah, Marisal, it's one way of saying it. Pour the water from the potatoes, because we eat a lot of potatoes. Wait, should I show? Bob, the picture I shared with you the other day. I don't know. It's irrelevant. I mean, the show's irrelevant now. Y'all can leave now. There's not really anything of value going on here. It's just really hanging out. Let me see if I can just anyway. So. Boom, 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 boom. Oops, not here, not here, not here. Oh, this. All right. So yeah. So this is. I had this. So I love food. I do take pictures sometimes of the food I eat because I just love it. This is meatballs with tzatziki full of garlic and 4 potatoes that have been in the oven with different spices. Salt, peppers, different good stuff. So yeah, that's potatoes. And at some stage, you got to pour the water from the potatoes. It's one way of saying it. You got it? You got it, Al?
Pour the water from the potatoes. Got it.
Yeah. So there's that. There's resetting the node. There is. Someone said emptying the mempool, but yeah, I don't know.
Emptying the mempool. I like that one. That's
Wait,
good.
what? I think MG Smith just used Google Translate. But it's got like even the letter A correct. Je har som blom mit egg, which means you're doing great.
We're doing great, man.
Yeah, Danish. So there's got to be Google Translate. No way, it's not Danish. Although I'd call him and Moon Guy for probably AIs because they're always awake. Marisal says it sounds weird. I'll say it again. Jeg har det som blom i et æg. Make sense?
Sounds weird, man.
Yeah, Marisal, dude, I can't wait to
Marty's
to
Owl,
meet
by the
you.
way.
Sorry?
Most people know Marty's Owl is actually Satoshi Nakamoto. Most people don't know that.
He's actually a sock puppet account for Satoshi Nakamoto. That guy, so he's got 1 million Bitcoin. If you want to, if you want someone to buy you a beer or a drink or a bottle, you go to Marisal. He's got 1 million Bitcoin. He'd take care of you. And this is the last time he'll ever watch Toxic Happy Hour. Anyways, dude, Puppy, final words to you, and then we're gonna kill it.
Hey, here's my final words. If anyone is still crazy enough to be talking to us or hanging out here, just realize this: everyone has been in this position with Bitcoin. we've been here. The highs, the lows, the dumps. Listen, just keep buying, hold on, and get ready for the ride because this fucker's going up. This fucker's going up in the next 6 months. Get ready.
Beautiful. And let me just say something. So I just realized here, 2.5 hours in approximately, one very important thing I saw on Bitcoin Twitter today. I think Preston Pish might have commented on it. But the month-over-month inflation rate in, I believe it was US, month-over-month. So in 1 month, inflation in US, and they measured where it's the lowest. It was 0.9%. So basically, you had 1% inflation in a month. That gives you, if that plays out, you're talking about a yearly inflation rate on, 10% or something. And that is what our fiat currency collapse looks like. Hyperinflation starts with the inflation going from 1% a year to 1% a month.
Yeah, it's done. The currency
It's
is
happening.
over.
It's
Yeah,
happening. That GIF.
The currency is over. Fuck, it's over.
Yeah. So let's pour one out for the USD. I'll put it in my mouth though.
You got it, man.
It's over. It's game over. You've been called out by some smart Bitcoiners and a Satoshi Nakamoto who made a bit of money. Your scam, your Ponzi has been called out. Now we're going to make the world a better place by giving people an opportunity to save the value of their labor so they can retire instead of working in pain till they break their back and die before they had a chance to really enjoy. And yeah. So I guess on that note, I just want to say, I got to pour the water from those potatoes, and also just, careful storing more value in dirty fiat currency because it has a built-in policy of losing value. As I was talking to my uncle here tonight, and you're making fun about the price. Oh, it goes up. Oh, it goes down. So yeah, I said, yeah. If you want predictability, if you want to be absolutely sure what happens to your money, you hold it in fiat because it goes down in value every year. You want predictability, you hand it over to other people by just holding dirty fiat because it's going to go away. That's all I got. I love you all. Love you, puppy. I'm happy to be in Denmark. Jeg har det som blommidig.
We're good, brother. Love you, man.
All right. On the next one.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, Bella.